look very briefly at the basics of a concept called packages in Java. So you'll note here at the minute the main.java file sits right in the root of this src folder, and in an IntelliJ project, src is where the source code for our project sits. Okay, we've got some other files which we won't worry about just yet. Okay, but we would normally put all of our program code, maybe with the exception of tests, if we're writing tests, inside the source folder. Now, in very large projects, we're going to have all sorts of different parts to our application. So typically we would break our program down into packages, and the common way of doing that is to use a domain name for the organization in reverse format. So my domain name, not that I really use it, is tinyappco.com, and then we might have a folder for the different parts of the program. So if we've got a part of the program that does the user interface, if we've got a part of the program that does sort of the business logic, we might split them up. We might go into more detail than that, but that's just an example. The thing is with packages is they're essentially, in all intents and purposes, folders on the drive of the machine, but they have to, the files that go in as packages have to have a declaration that indicates where they are. So, for example, I'm going to create a package here by going to new package, and I'm going to say com.tinyappco, which is the inverse of my domain name tinyappco.com. Okay, now at the minute my main class isn't in there, but we might think, because this might at some point become part of a larger application, that we want that to be in here. Now, we could create a new file in here and copy it over, or IntelliJ will probably let us drag this in. And what I want to do before we drag that is just to look at what we've got in our class at the minute. Okay, in our file we've got public class main, we've got our class, our method, and our print statement. I'm going to drag it over into the package. It's asking me to move it, and it's actually going to make some changes to the code. And when we make changes to the code to often improve them, we'd call it refactoring. So we're going to click the refactor button, and it's now moved main into the com.tinyappco folder. And if we were to explore that by looking at it on the disk using the Open in Finder option, we'll now see that inside the source folder in our IntelliJ project there's a com folder, a tinyapp folder, and in there is main.java. And in our file it now starts package com.tinyappco. Okay, if our package declarations don't match, we're going to get errors in our code. It's going to say package com exists in another module. Well, it does, because there's other parts of Java, but here it's saying it doesn't correspond to the file path. So the packages have to match the folder structure within where they are. Okay. Now we can make use of things in other packages if we want. Later on, we're going to use something called the scanner to get text from the user. And when we do that, we will import the package in order to be able to use it. So I'll quickly give an example of that. Don't worry too much about exactly what we're doing. But if I want to use the scanner exists in a package called java.util. So I can create a new scanner by doing something like this. I can call it scanner. Again, don't worry too much about the code I'm writing, because we'll come to this later. It's more about understanding how packages work. Okay, so you'll see here we've got the scanner. This is the type. Okay, this is the class. And I'm actually creating a new scanner in order to be able to use it. So I'm saying go to the Java package. In the Java package, find the util package, and in there find the scanner. Now we can actually simplify that by adding an import statement and importing java.util.scanner. And if I do that, I can skip having to use the whole package name in my code. Okay, so here we're declaring a package for our own code, and here we're saying give us like shorthand access to a package that already exists. And that's a brief introduction to packages.